Okay, this has been a really hard recording to make, and I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible. And no, I'm not going to talk about Kevin Smith lying, because there are people that has done it better, and they actually have the receipts. No matter how many times he denies it, they're out there. So I'm not going to really talk about that. But what I am going to talk about is this dumpster fire of show called Masters of the Universe. I'm going to talk about that. This show was terrible. It was 100% awful, and I came off from watching The Loft. So if you guys want to know my views on that, check out Urban Griffith's channel. Club Atlantis actually did a review on that, so you'll see what my thoughts are on that horrible, horrible movie. But after coming off of watching that, and pretty much a whole week of bad, you really hoped that somehow you were wrong about your fears on what direction it was going to go, and you wanted to be wrong. I wasn't wrong. That's the direction that they went. This show was really bad. Why? Because Teela is insufferable. Teela did nothing but berate and pretty much downgrade everybody on the entire show. And yes, there were a huge amount of feminist overtones. And usually things that have a large amount of feminist overtones do nothing but degrade men, make men waste of space, make them very stupid, or make them groveling or sippish, which is pretty much what they did here. And these are characters that already have a cemented legacy. And you're going to really make them into simps? Really? You're going to make Orko emo? Really? The only person that actually had a redeeming arc was Evelyn. And Evelyn, I didn't really like her as a kid. I honestly thought she was by far the weakest. And I think there was an episode where she got kicked out of the group, to where Skeletor just got sick of her and kicked her out of the group. But she ended up having to fight her way back. But regardless, she was the only character that I honestly did like that had a decent arc. But Teela was just awful. I hated her with every fiber of my being. I hated her on my screen. I wanted her to die. As a character on the show, of course. But her lesbian lover, Audra, was just as bad. Because all she had were these puns that did not land. She was very annoying. She just wanted to be a hero because I want to know what my purpose is. Like everybody on this freaking planet wants to know what their purpose is. And the fact that you're making her black, you're not doing us any favors. You're giving us a hand-me-down character. Sorry, you kind of are. And for those that don't know, Audra actually was a character that happens to be white with red hair. But you turn her black for reasons. And I just need to know what my place is. How long have you been in Eternia? And you don't have a place? And you're grown? Really? But anyway, the fact is she's a hand-me-down character that's annoying, throws out nothing but puns, and she just has no place anywhere except for the very end. She still didn't have a place there, but she was useful. She was functional. But I still could not stand her. And the fact that she was black makes it even worse. Because you practically just gave us a hand-me-down character with no personality whatsoever. But anyway, the thing is that it's not just Teela and Audra that makes this bad. It's the fact that you call this a He-Man series and He-Man was barely in it. Don't get me started on the beginning and end, because I will go on for hours talking about how stupid that decision was. But the fact that you barely have He-Man in it, or Prince Adam, or Cringer, or Battle Cat, which is mainly the reason why I watched He-Man in the first place as a kid, and I actually had to go and debate with my mom why I should watch this because of the PSAs. That's mainly the reason why my mom let me watch it, because of the PSAs. I was waiting for Battle Cat. I was waiting for He-Man. I was waiting for that moment to where you would see him on screen for as long as you possibly can. We barely saw him, but flashbacks. That's all we got. Flashbacks. That's just pathetic. And Duncan played a larger role in the series than people think he did, but he was just a groveling, exiled guy that acted like he didn't care. It was just kind of hiding, and then all of a sudden he was gonna go, but then she was like, "Oh no, stay here." I'm just like, look, this is utter garbage. It really is, even towards the very end. And there is this one particular scene that just boils me. It just really does. It just grinds my gears. And yeah, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say that. But Teela has no redeeming qualities. This woman is supposed to be the lead, and she has no redeeming quality. She doesn't learn her lesson. She has a very elitist attitude. She downgrades everybody she's around. She's insufferable, and she makes the entire show worse. And you guys who created this nonsense is blaming the fans because they're mad, and they have every right to be, because let's be honest, Kevin Smith lied. This is practically the worst He-Man series I have ever watched. The utter worst. And they're gonna try to create a season 2, but honestly, how? There's not gonna be any He-Man in that either. And people, don't fall for it. Don't fall for the artwork. Yes, the artwork is beautiful. Yes, it actually is well animated. A lot better animated than how it was in the 80s, but they were working with what they had. But don't fall for that, because now with films, with series, with even video games, they make things look beautiful to hide their shortcomings, to hide their flaws. That's kind of what it is here. They made things look pretty just to hide how bad this is. This should not get any love. This should not even get any recognition. This should get a thumbs down. And for people who keep saying, well, I'm going to cancel my Netflix subscription, that shows them, no, idiot. All you got to do is hit the thumbs down. They look at that. They survey that. They monitor that. And it shows whether or not it's going to have a season 2 or not. So just hit the thumbs down on Netflix. It will help. But other than that, this is garbage. Do not give this show any love. Do not even give it any recognition, because it doesn't deserve it. Because you are dealing with a guy, Kevin Smith, who spent his entire life pretty much feeding off a nerd culture like a tick, or pretty much a culture vulture, saying that he was a nerd like everybody else, but it's a given that he's pretty much like everybody else in Hollywood. Sucks everything dry, inserts their own narrative into films or series that already have a very strong foundation, and pretty much cares very little about the fans.